BGN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speedworld. We welcome you to the granddaddy of all super speedways for today's NASCAR Pontiac Pacesetters 200 from Darlington, South Carolina. It was an overcast day earlier today, but now it's a beautiful day for racing. The clouds have moved away. Temperature just about 71 degrees. It'd be hard to imagine you could get the competition any better than we saw it a year ago in the Busch Series. 14 different winners in a 31-race tour. But this year, one word and one word only describes the competition, and that is parity. Let's go down now for the four most famous words in motorsports, trackside.
Start your engine.
The 40-car field roars to life as the Busch Grand National Series drivers give a big smile. There's Jimmy Hensley, our pole sitter, a wave to the crowd as they get set to do battle here. 147 laps. And we said before, one word and one word only describes this field and what they have gone through at the beginning of 1991, and that is parity. Right, Benny Parsons?
Jerry, parity might be an understatement. 6 races this year, 6 different winners. And the winners are scattered throughout the field. On the pole position, Jimmy Hensley won the fourth race of the year in Martinsville. Started third, Kenny Wallace. He won the 5th race of the year at Volusia County Speedway. Dale Jarrett, who started 6th, won the 3rd race of the year in Rockingham. And back in 10th spot, there's Harry again. He won the 2nd race of the year in Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway. Now to find the winners of race 1 and 6, we got to go all the way to the back of the field where John Kernan is.
Well, Benny, just how quickly fortunes can change. Last week, Butch Miller, the winner at Hickory. He will start the race from the 38th position. But the man who has the farthest to go to the front of the field is right here, sitting behind the wheel in this black number 3, Dale Earnhardt. He will start dead last on the field in qualifying on Thursday. He took the green flag. The engine started sputtering, so he pulled it into the pits. And as a result, will start dead last on the field. Now let's go upstairs to your host for the 1991 season, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, John Kernan. You know, Dale Earnhardt is the winningest driver on super speedways in Busch Grand National Series history. 12 wins to his credit. But if he is to win number 13 here today, he will have to hustle. Now, Dale Earnhardt's been called a lot of things, but conservative isn't one of them. And Ned Jarrett joining us here again in 1991, our 2-time NASCAR champion and former winner here at Darlington. Can you afford to be that aggressive at this tough old racetrack?
Normally not, Jerry, but if anybody can be aggressive and still win on this racetrack, it is Dale Earnhardt. He just seems to be able to go out and run as hard as he wants to and still not get in trouble that others get into. But this place, you really have to treat it with kid gloves all the time. It'll be interesting to see him coming up through the pack. Now, one thing they're going to have to watch here today is tire wear. The first 7 qualifiers broke the old track record here, and one thing that helped them to do that was a soft rubber compound that Goodyear has on the radial tires here today, but it wears the tires, and that's something they'll be very concerned with.
Field passing down the backstretch. Let's take a look at our die-hard starting lineup for this Pontiac Pacesetters 200. The front row, Jimmy Hensley, his 13th career pole, puts his Oldsmobile on the pole here. Michael Waltrip, the Pennzoil Pontiac, will flank him. Waltrip had a great run in Daytona. Back to row 2, Kenny Wallace, who won a few weeks ago in Florida on the Volusia County Speedway, and a 2-time winner here, Winston Cup champion Darrell Waltrip. Back to row 3, Bobby Labonte. Remember the great run he had here a year ago? He is yet to get his first Busch Series win. And Dale Jarrett, who won earlier this year at Rockingham. Row 4, Morgan Shepherd. As many times as he's raced here, he has never won in Busch Series competition at Darlington. That might change today. And the 1991 Daytona 500 winner, Ernie Irvan. Row 5, Jeff Gordon, who's won about everything you could ask for in open wheel competition. He's a rookie here in Busch Series driving. He's done a very good job early in the year. And the winningest driver at Darlington in Busch Series competition, Harry Gant, 4 wins in the last 7 starts. Row 6, Ward Burton. Now watch this young man. He's a talented young driver. Finally has a good ride. He'll be a factor. And Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer in the Mike Laughlin Pontiac will start 12th. As you look at the remainder of our starting grid here, 40 cars set to do battle here at Darlington International Raceway, and Ned Jarrett, some pretty good horses back in the field.
Yeah, Tommy Ellis starting back there, and then Tommy Houston starting back in the pack, and a little farther on back, we'll see Chuck Bown, last year's Busch Grand National champion. So I think we'll see some good racing and some fellas trying to make a move and coming up towards the front. There's Chuck Bown starting back on the 15th row.
Jeff Green, our pole sitter from down Daytona. Troy Beebe from the West Coast. Clifford Allison, the youngest member of the Alabama gang. And there's Dale Earnhardt. You heard John Kernan talk about. He's got a long way to go. And, of course, this tough old track's at 1.366 mile oval. The pole speed 158, a new set record. And of course, the race length here, 147 laps, field separation, only 8.8 miles per hour, as we're getting set for the green flag here. Busch Grand National Series racing action. The 10th year, the 10th anniversary for this ultra competitive series here at the track. Too tough to tame. A great crowd on hand. Glad you could join us for today's NASCAR Busch Grand National Series season opener for us at ESPN. Green flag waves, and they shuffle down to turn 1.
We saw Earnhardt get 2 cars before he got to turn 1. And still side by side up front, Jerry.
It's a standoff up front. Hensley has to fall back in line. It's one groove, and now Waltrip tries to make a move inside of Jimmy Hensley. So some of the veterans using their experience early on here at Darlington. Let's take a look and see where Dale Earnhardt is. Yes, there he is, passing cars, just trying to go by the Busch Miller car. Now being shown 34th. After one lap, he has gained 6 positions. Now begins to work inside of Bobby Donner as they head up that back straightaway.
But there's a lot of racing, a lot of dicing going on in front of him. That's something he'll really have to watch on this racetrack, because if a car gets in trouble in front of you, there's just not much maneuvering room.
As he goes by Jeff Green, let's check in with John Kernan on Dale Earnhardt. John?
Jerry, Dale is not accustomed to starting from the tail end of the field. In fact, his worst ever start in a Busch Grand National race was 27th in the 1989 Goodies 300 in Daytona. But Jerry fought his way through the field there and wound up finishing 4th on that day.
Well, currently he is now 28th, John, so he is making his way to the front in a hurry. But the people he's catching up there and trying to catch, there's Earnhardt, is this crew right here. Michael Waltrip and older brother Darrell. It's the Owensboro, Kentucky shuffle up front right now as the pole sitter Jimmy Hensley now rides back in 3rd spot. Kenny Wallace, the youngster, younger brother of Rusty Wallace, in 4th. No surprise at all to see Michael Waltrip running so well early on in this Pennzoil Pontiac. He finished 2nd at Daytona in this same car. But a lot of optimism from Darrell Waltrip about how well they were going to run here today. They came here and tested a couple of weeks ago in the Wilson Cup car, which you'll see tomorrow live on ESPN. But they felt that that same setup would work in the Busch car, some 300 pounds lighter. And indeed, Ned Jarrett, they must have this car dialed in pretty well.
It looks very good. He's staying low on the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, 25 degrees banking in turns 1 and 2, a little less banking as they go up the backstretch and go into turn 3. It's 23 degrees around these turns. And of course, this track is somewhat egg-shaped. Now we see Darrell trying to make a move on his brother Michael as they come off of turn 4, but I don't believe it'll work quite this time.
A little bit surprising to see Darrell to be this aggressive early on. We talked about the tire wear, what a factor that would be. As hot as it is today, with that rubber being washed off, I'd be a little bit concerned.
Yeah, it rained here quite a bit yesterday afternoon and last night, so it did wash off the rubber that had been put down in practice and qualifying for both the Winston Cup and Busch Grand National cars. And of course, that will make the tire wear a little bit heavier. We have a report that Bobby Labonte might be leaking a little bit of oil. He started in 5th place, Jerry, and he now has dropped back to 7th position. He's still running good. No major smoke coming from his car.
Here's Richard Lassiter has spun the car number 05, and his car has come to rest out on the track apron out of harm's way. No yellow flag as of yet. They will continue under green. Richard Lassiter, one of the rookie competitors this year in Busch Series racing, gets the car righted just out of turn 2 and will head back down the back straightaway. There's his Pontiac. Some sheet metal damage on the bottom carriage of the car, but apparently he will resume racing action.
Now he's pulling out in front of the leaders, Jared. They're coming up on him very quickly behind him. I hope he sees them as they come off of turn 4. He moves down to the inside of the racetrack. He did see them, did the right thing, got out of their way.
Lots of racing action. Hot and heavy early on here at Darlington International Raceway as the Waltrips show their way up front. We'll be back with more from Darlington after this.
The same battery that has started 9 out of 10 NASCAR winners since 1977 also starts millions of cars all over America every day. Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
No more big, crummy muffins, because Hostess has created mini muffins. They're bite-sized and Hostess.
Glad you could join us this afternoon for stop number 7 on the 31 race, $4.5 million Busch Grand National Tour, the 10th anniversary for Busch Series Racing, NASCAR style. Today's Speedworld coverage of this Pontiac Pacesetters 200 brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. By Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. Action heating up here early on. There are the pair of Waltrips, Michael and Darrell, respectively, in the cars number 30 and 17. And they have pulled away a little bit, Ned, from that third and fourth place cars, about 15 car lengths.
Well, Dale Jarrett, just this moment, as he went into turn 3, moved around Jimmy Hensley to take over the third position as they were battling for that position. Yes, it did. Let the two Waltrip brothers pull away a little bit.
Of course, Dale Jarrett, there's the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac going by. Jarrett in third spot and Hensley back there in fourth. Jarrett won this race last fall, starting way back in 28th spot. So Jarrett showing how well he runs this track. Remember, he won earlier this year at Rockingham. Jimmy Hensley, who was on the pole, now being shown back in fourth spot. And Ernie Irvin, the car on the right of your screen, that's the yellow car. The Chevrolet, the Mac Tools color, and a great shot there, guys, of Ernie Irvin. He's now being shown in fifth spot.
Yeah, he started in 8th, so he's moving on up through the pack a little bit. Jimmy Hensley, who started on the pole, now running in fourth place. He might be running a conservative race here, Jerry, because of the tire wear that they're concerned about. And certainly the Busch Grand National drivers are concerned with points. They want to finish this race. And one way that they can assure them a better chance of doing that is being conservative, not taking a chance on those tires so that they have to make more than one pit stop. If you have to make more than one pit stop to change tires, I think you're going to be in trouble.
This race, 147 laps, that's 200 miles, and these cars can get about 110 to 120 miles on a tank of fuel, so they could probably go just past the halfway on fuel, but that's not going to be the limiting factor.
No, I think the limiting factor would be the tire wear, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of a strategy you have. Here is Morgan Shepherd trying to move around Kenny Wallace. Kenny started up in the third position today. He has dropped back a little bit. He might also be running a little bit conservative.
Morgan Shepherd, remember, hasn't won here. He's in a Ford Thunderbird. Kenny Wallace in the Pontiac. The 1989 Rookie of the Year in Busch Series competition there. It's the draft back 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Actually, that's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's Hensley, Ernie Irvin, and now Bobby Labonte, the youngster. Harry Labonte's younger brother, who ran so well here a year ago in that car number 44, the Penrose car. He's in 6th spot. Harry Gant. And Gant so very strong at this track. 4 wins in the last 7 starts in the Ed Whitaker-owned Skoll Bandit Buick. That car number 7 for Harry Gant. Those 4 cars, again, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and they come at you at about 130 miles an hour out of turn 4.
Well, once they go down the front straightaway, Jerry, and hit turn 1, they're upwards of 170, 175 miles an hour.
Really difficult to get a grasp of how fast these cars are going when you see them all together there. Now back in the pack, that is Hensley, Irvin, Labonte, and Gant. You'll see, we'll keep you abreast this year of some of the passing going on as we now show you Dale Jarrett. As he has really made a move inside and just slid right by. Darrell Waltrip made it look easy.
Well, he really did, Jarrett. He came up on him pretty quickly. I thought he'd have to follow him for a lap or 2 before he could get around, but Darrell didn't fight him too much. He just let him go.
What is it about you, Jarrett's, in this racetrack? I mean, you were so dominant here when you drove in the 60s. This track one of your best.
Well, it was a good track for me, Jerry. I'm not sure dominant would be the word. We did win here in 1965. It's a tough racetrack. It was then and still is, and I think we just all like a challenge. Whoop, Earnhardt just run out of racing room there. Coming up, that's Ed Ferree, the rookie driver down on the inside, who had a great run last week.
Whoa, and Jack Sprague just about pinning Earnhardt to the outside wall. Chuck Bown got on the brakes a little bit, and Earnhardt able to squeeze by, and Sprague driving the Fred Turner car.
That moved Earnhardt up into 20th position, so he has passed half the field, Jerry. And
16 laps.
16 laps. That's pretty good going.
That's rough, isn't it? Told you there wasn't a conservative bone in that guy's body. Earnhardt now being shown in 20th spot, still on the move, and he is chasing the leaders. Back up front, there is Dale Jarrett and Darrell Waltrip in 2nd and 3rd spot. Those 2 guys trying to catch Michael Waltrip. Now, Michael has just disappeared. He's about 20 car lengths in front of Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, he's pulling away from him.
There is Michael in the Pennzoil Pontiac. What a great way to begin the year with this new sponsorship and this new car here from Michael Waltrip, finishing 2nd at Daytona in the biggest Busch Series event of the year down there in the Goodies 300.
Jack Sprague is on pit road, an unscheduled pit stop for him in car number 48.
Michael Waltrip now coming up to speed here down the straightaway. Average lap is about 158 miles an hour. And as you said, Ned, well, here's the spread car in the pits, an unscheduled stop. And again, looks like it's a tire problem.
Yes, they're changing the right side tires in that car. And here's the smoker down in turn 1, and it's Harry Gant, last year's winner. The caution is out. Harry Gant, one of the favorites here today, but looks like he's out of it.
We mentioned how strong Harry Gant had been here over the years, and he was looking to get win number 5. Winningest driver here, that 51-year-old competitor from Tablesville, North Carolina, but it will not happen as Harry Gant takes the hard left-hand turn behind the wall. We are under caution here at Darlington Raceway. Lots of racing to come your way. Don't go away. Still early here, just 20 laps complete of the 147, which make up this 200-mile event. Michael Waltrip showing the way. Dale Jarrett in second spot. Darrell Waltrip is third. Then Hensley and Bobby Labonte in the top 5. Lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow. Live flag-to-flag coverage of the Trans-South 500 from Darlington, South Carolina. 1 p.m. Eastern. Bob Jenkins will be on hand along with the rest of the ESPN Speedworld crew to bring you the track Too Tough to Tame, a 500-mile event for the Winston Cup stock cars. And of course, Harry Gant will be in that event tomorrow, but he is now parked today, and our Benny Parsons is standing by with his crew chief, Chris Carrier. Benny?
Chris, a lot of smoke down in turn 1. You know what happened?
Yeah, it lost an engine. It's hard to tell really what happened to it, whether it dropped a valve or something in the bottom end, or just can't really tell right now. But it's been a long time since we lost an engine. Jim Ruggles and the people down there are doing a real good job, and the Buick V6 program is just wondrous to me. You know, we can't really complain. They do a good job for us.
This is not a very good birthday present, is it?
I've had better, I'll tell you. Well, you know, he did a super job in not crashing the car, and that means it saves a lot of work for us, so it's not a total loss. We're going back home to our hometown racetrack next week, and we have high hopes there. We got a lot to make up from last year. We didn't do very well there, but we're going to try and put it to them there, so maybe things will be better in another week.
The tune, happy birthday. Not a very good one you're in the Harry Gant pit, Jerry.
Indeed. Chris Carrier, his crew chief, 31 years old today. And Ned Jarrett, as you look up that backstretch pit area, no one's in the pits. Now, the rules have changed a little bit now as opposed to what they were a few weeks ago in Atlanta. So let's explain to the people what's happened with the new NASCAR rules.
Okay, they have done away with the odd, even color numbers as far as the cars are concerned. So when the green flag is out after they have made at least one full lap of green flag running, they can pit at any time. Any car, it doesn't matter. They're not designated as even and odd and orange and blue as they were. So basically what the rules are now is that you can't change tires during a caution period. And everything else is basically the same.
So we don't see any tire changing at all during here. We'll take a look at the point standings. Kenny Wallace having a great year. Only one finish out of the top 10 in the first 6 events of the year. He is our current point leader. Jimmy Hensley back by 85 points in second spot. Bobby Labonte trails Hensley by 29 points. Tommy Houston is back another 10. And Todd Bodine, yes, another Bodine, the youngest of the Bodine clan, showing in 5th spot. Joe Nemechek, last year's Rookie of the Year, in 6th. Elton Sawyer back in 7th. Butch Miller, freshman that win at Hickory Speedway last week, in 8th. Tom Peck is 9th, and Dale Jarrett, who does not run the full Busch Tour, still being shown in the top 10 by virtue of his win early in the year. The top 15 here as we currently sit at Darlington: Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley, and Bobby Labonte in the top 5, 6 through 10. Ernie Irvin, Morgan Shepherd, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Burton, keep an eye on him, and Jeff Gordon, the youngster from the open wheel ranks. 11 through 15, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton, Steve Grissom with a new sponsor we'll tell you about later, Davey Johnson in 14th spot, and the veteran Tommy Houston showing in 15th position. 22 laps of 147 complete, getting set to go back to green flag racing action, and that was a break for Dale Jarrett. Remember, he had about a 20 car length separation between him and the lead car he was chasing, Michael Waltrip, and as the green flag waves, Ned, we'll see if possibly Dale can now catch him.
Well, we'll see if he has anything for him. Michael's car is working awful well. They break away a little bit from Darrell on the start there, but Michael takes it right down to the inside of the track and back in the pack. Earnhardt trying to pick his way through, and there's trouble.
3 or 4 cars have come together up in turns 2.
And they're still spinning and banging into each other. As I said, when a car gets in trouble, there's just not much room to maneuver around, and we saw that happening as they race back to the start-finish line. Michael Waltrip brings Dale Jarrett and Darrell Waltrip around.
And they're waving the flag, the yellow flag. Mike Harwood on the flag stand really waving that flag because of debris over turns 1 and 2. where Jack Sprague's car has come to rest. Lap 24, and on a restart, everyone trying to be really serious about getting to the front, and Earnhardt made a tremendous move to get through that. He was up there trying to get to the outside, and he made a move that I absolutely couldn't believe. Let's take a look again, Ned.
Well, you see a couple of cars get in trouble, and look at Earnhardt just turn left down on the inside and go through. And I'll tell you, that's tough to do when you get down on that flat spot and keep control of the car. All right, let's watch Earnhardt now just as he's ISO'd. He's behind Tommy Ellis in the blue car, number 56. He goes up on the outside of Ellis, and then the trouble will happen in front of him. He gets on the brakes, pulls down to the inside. Ellis moved farther down and gave him room. Tommy Ellis helped Dale Earnhardt to get through that situation. If Ellis had stayed out there and only took the groove that he needed, Dale Earnhardt would not have been able to get through there, but he gave Earnhardt plenty of running room.
Well, Ellis made that great move, too. If Tommy Ellis hadn't been able to make the good move, that would have given Earnhardt the opening to get out of the way. But a tough break for Steve Grissom, sporting the new Roddenberry sponsorship on his Oldsmobile today. Grissom, one of the up-and-coming young drivers, won 4 times last year. And Tommy Houston, the 45-year-old veteran. Now they're getting work on his Buick. A tough break for Houston. They're trying to get it repaired. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, it looks like if they're going to repair it, they're going to have to replace the radiator. I can see some water leaking out from underneath, and they are working in that front area. They might try and cut the nose away and then try to replace the radiator, but it looks like Tommy ran smack into the back of somebody. A lot of front-end damage on his car.
That's Tommy Houston's son, Scott. You see working on the front of the car, and there's 75, Ward Burton, the Charlie Henderson-owned car, as they are working on that machine. Benny, what are they doing down there on the Burton car?
Well, they're trying to figure out what might fall off the car, and NASCAR would make the black flag and make them come back in. They're trying to beat the pace car right now, and now they're going to have a conference to try to figure out exactly what they have to take off to be able to race this afternoon. It doesn't look like there's a lot of suspension damage, just superficial damage here.
Well, Bill Smith, the crew chief on that car, trying to get the Ward Burton machine fixed, and of course, here is Steve Grissom's car, number 31, and he looked to be making his way to the front in a hurry, Ned. This young man is a very impressive young driver.
Oh, he has no question about it. He won 4 races last year, as we see the car number 37 of Rich Burgess, as the wrecker comes around to hook up to him. We have to report that there are 9 cars involved in that. Tom Peck was one of them, car number 96, Robert Presley, car number 59, the car number 5 of Ed Barrier, and the car number 48 of Jack Sprague, Tommy Houston, and of course the Burton car 75, the car number 33 of, well, let's see, Ed Barrier's driving the 33. Who do I have in the 5 car there a moment ago? I had him wrong. And the car number 31 for Steve Grissom, and car number 81, which is being driven by Davey Johnson.
Well, let's check in the pits where John Kernan is caught up with a very disappointed Steve Grissom. John?
Disappointment not is just a mild way to put it. Steve, a lot of damage, a big crash out there. Well, what happened?
What? I didn't hear what you said.
What happened, Steve?
Just a couple cars got together there getting into turn 1, and after that, wasn't really nowhere for anybody to go.
So I guess you are working on the car. You plan to get it out and get as many points as you can.
Yeah, we need to try to get back out if there's any way possible.
He was hoping to do so well. He said getting this sponsorship was the difference between night and day, Jerry, but now his day has ended in disappointment. They will try and get it back out, though, but they have a lot of work to do.
Well, Brian Frazier, the crew chief there, the WB Roddenberry Company Oldsmobile, trying to get that car repaired, but action is always fast and furious in Buschcraft National Competition here at Darlington. We'll be back after this. Michael Waltrip showing the way.
ESPN's NASCAR season begins with the Trans-South 500. Watch and you could win a new car Sunday afternoon live on ESPN. Undefeated knockout artist Eddie Cook faces hard-hitting Diego Avila for the U.S. Bantamweight title. It's another championship Sunday on Top Rank Boxing, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Still under the second caution flag of the day here at Darlington. Let's take a look at the top 20. Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley, and Bobby Labonte, 1 through 5. 6 through 10, Ernie Irvin making his way to the front. Morgan Shepherd, Kenny Wallace. Watch out for Jeff Burton in 9th, and Jeff Gordon in the Ford Thunderbird. 11 through 15, Jimmy Spencer, Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, he started 40th, but he's 12th. Tommy Ellis in 13th. Ed Barrier, good run for him. And Ed Ferree, one of the rookie competitors, in 15th spot. 16 through 20, Todd Bodine, David Green, Chuck Bown, the defending series champion, Joe Nemechek, last year's Rookie of the Year, and another rookie competitor, Jeff Green, showing in the 20th spot. Still under caution here at Darlington Raceway, so we'll take another break so we can bring you uninterrupted green flag racing action later today. Don't go away. We'll be back with more after this.
Right through the toughest dirt around. Chase the grease and grime right out of town. When you have the toughest stain and it's giving you a pain, sip it all, sip it all.
The Suzuki Dual Sport 350S cleans up on any surface.
Wow!
Fact. The all-new Ford Escort is the best-selling small car in America. Fact. The new Escort has the highest owner satisfaction of any car in our history. Fact. Escort has more repeat buyers than any car in its class. Call it leadership. Call it winning. Call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Have you driven a Ford lately?
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know.
Is in mother of invention. Watch the Quaker State crew as he goes rolling those 4 tires away with the cart that's made to roll 4 tires. You know, again, invention. Back to you, Jerry.
Well, Benny, that makes it easy instead of having to roll them back. And we heard Benny Parsons in tremendous shape, huffing and puffing, running along beside those tires. Great job, Benny, showing us exactly how they do it in a hurry here. We are still under the caution flag for the second time today. A 9-car crash in turn 2. And Ned, let's just review once again the drivers involved in that collision.
Yeah, we had car number 5, and we don't have a car 5 in the field, and instead was the car number 79. Dave Resendez was involved in the crash. We also had car number 33, Ed Barrier, involved, but Ed is out on the racetrack, no problem. In fact, several of the cars that were involved have made repairs and are back out on the racetrack. Now, Barrier, we didn't see any damage on his car, so he might have just spun around, so he is okay. Tom Peck, who was one of the cars involved, car number 96, has made a pit stop on the backstretch and has changed tires, so he has been assessed a 2-lap penalty. There's the car number 33 of Ed Barrier, so you can see the car's in good shape.
Well, let's take a look at what caused this caution flag and all the repair that's being done to the cars around the track. One car spinning, going into turn 1 there. A couple of cars trying to get on the brakes, but the field's so bunched up, Ned, with that restart, a lot of people had nowhere to go.
They didn't, and the track is so narrow there. Now, sometimes they can go through that turn side by side, but everybody has to be very careful. But once a car gets to spinning, and you naturally cut down onto the flat spot of the track to the apron there, and when you do, the car will break loose. And you can see there's just not much room for anyone to go, and so that's why they kept on running in there and crashing.
And the man we were following from the start of the race, Dale Earnhardt, starting back in about 20th spot now on this restart. He'd gotten to the inside and was going to try to make a move to the outside of Tommy Ellis, the blue car number 56. Now he goes to the outside of Ellis. Meanwhile, they're banging and battering up front, and Ellis makes the move to the left. And watch Earnhardt, hard left is with Ellis. They just escaped that 9-car crash.
That's 2 veterans going at it there, Tommy Ellis and Dale Earnhardt. They saw what was happening up in front of them. They got on the brakes, got their cars under control, were able to turn left and do so without spinning around.
But basically, that's what they try to tell rookies. Is what Dale Earnhardt and people tell rookies in the rookie meeting is when you see an accident, Ned, what you try to drive through it.
Try to drive through it, but the first thing, slow the car down as much as you possibly can to get control of it. Don't lock the brakes because you don't have any control of the car if the wheels are locked. And that same thing applies on the highway.
Dale Earnhardt now being shown in 12th spot. A beautiful day for racing here at Darlington. Don't go away. When we return, we'll have more green flag racing action. The Pontiac Pacesetters 200 getting set to go green flag racing once again. And how appropriately, a pair of Pontiacs up front, then a Chevrolet for Darrell Waltrip, and then a pair of Oldsmobiles. Michael Waltrip, the Pennzoil Pontiac, the bright orange and red numeral car number 30 takes the green flag, and they head down to turn 1. They scatter out 2 and 3 wide, very wide front and back straightaways, but it narrows down in a hurry when you get to the turn.
Yeah, they better get down to no more than 2 abreast as they go into the turn. It looks like they did that. In fact, they almost got in single file. A couple of cars trying to make some moves, but they saw what happened the last time around, so everybody a little more careful this time through turns 1 and 2, and they made it.
About a car length separating Dale Jarrett's Nestle's Crunch Pontiac, and Jarrett now will make a move to the inside as Waltrip slides up high. We're talking about Michael Waltrip. He's up high, but he still holds off Dale Jarrett. And Darrell Waltrip sitting back in another car lift back, watching the battle for first and second spots.
Well, Michael's car is really working good, Jerry. He did slip a little bit up there in turn 3, which allowed Jerry to get a nose under him, but he was able to pull it back down and stay there. That's a sign of a good working automobile. We'll see what Jerry can do this time. There's Earnhardt making a move around the Jeff Gordon car.
And Dale Earnhardt now will take over the 11th spot. It's back up front once again. Dale Jarrett talking the rear of Michael Waltrip's car. Michael Waltrip has never won here in Darlington. Of course, Jarrett won last fall, and Darrell Waltrip has won here twice.
Jarrett seems to be a little bit stronger coming through turns 3 and 4. Let's see what he can do this time. Well, he's not going to be able to do anything with him. He got out of line. There's Morgan Shepherd when his Ford, the Texas Pete Sauce's car. He was one of the favorites here today. Caution is out. Shepherd brings it to the pits.
Caution being waved for the 3rd time today as Morgan Shepherd brings his car down pit road. Apparently debris, we are being told, from the NASCAR officials on the track, so they will put out the yellow flag and send the safety crews around. But a tough break for the Texas Pete Ford driver, Morgan Shepherd, and you see that's the flag indicating the pits are closed. And that's the yellow flag being waved up front, of course, by our flagman, Mike Harwood, being assisted by Tony Martino, the Busch National Series flagman, and lap 37 in the books behind the Pontiac safety car. So Morgan Shepherd calls it a day, and Michael Waltrip's having it all his way. We'll have more from Darlington when we come back after this.
Welcome to Mountain Man 101. Let's begin. This
concern about tire wear here. You don't want to have to run over something on the track. Michael Waltrip has led every single lap, and we have had 38 of them thus far in this Busch Series event. Dale Jarrett finds himself in 2nd place. Darrell Waltrip, the 2-time winner, here in 3rd. Bobby Labonte, the youngster still looking for that first win, and Jimmy Hensley, the veteran driver, and another veteran making it back to the garage area. Tough break for the Roses Buick of Tommy Houston, 45-year-old competitor who won 4 times last year in Busch Series racing, but has yet to win in 1991.
And boy, this will hurt him too, Jerry. He was second, wasn't he, up there in the point standings, and maybe not second, but he's up in the top 5 in the point standings, and that is really going to hurt him. He was 4th coming into this race today, so Tommy Houston, tough day for him.
And 6 through 10, you see Ernie Irvin, Jeff Burton, Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, and Dale Earnhardt rounding out the top 10. 11 through 15, Jeff Gordon, Todd Bodine, Tommy Ellis, Ed Barrier, and the defending series champion, Chuck Bown. 38 laps complete. Morgan Shepherd, we said, had never won at Darlington, and he will have to wait a little while longer to pick up his first Busch Series win because he is standing with Benny Parsons.
Morgan Shepherd is now in there talking to some of the other folks at the racetrack. Morgan, had the Ford going pretty good. What happened?
Well, it's going real good, Benny, and it's a shame the Texas Pete Southern Virginia Ford was really running good today. I was just sitting there biding my time. The handling was so good on this car that I wasn't going to really push it until maybe up, 75 miles into the race, but something happened inside the engine.
Something happened. Who's the best car out there right now? Have any idea?
Well, you won't really be able to tell right now because the track doesn't have enough rubber laid down. Michael's leading the race. He looks strong, but Dale Jarrett runs good here. And I say when the racetrack gets slick, Dale will probably be the car to beat.
Dale Jarrett or Earnhardt?
Dale Jarrett, not Earnhardt.
Ned, that's good news.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's nice to hear from a veteran driver who's raced against him quite a bit. But I think Dale Earnhardt also might be tough when this thing's over.
I think he'll be a factor. We might mention Morgan Shepherd will start 23rd tomorrow in the Trans-South 500. He will be driving the Bud Moore Motorcraft Ford. And you will see every single lap live flag-to-flag coverage here on ESPN tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And we have a great one for you today, working the 3rd caution flag of the afternoon. As a result of debris on the racetrack, Harry Gann has called it a day. Remember, he had problems early on, had an engine failure. As the green flag waves, we're back to green flag racing once again. Sort of snuck up on them a little bit, Ned. The driver's waiting for that green flag to come out, and now they hustle down to turn 1.
See Kenny Wallace back there making it 2 abreast. That's the black car with the green lettering on it, the current point leader. He's right behind Jimmy Hensley in the blue car, number 25. As Michael Waltrip in the yellow car leads Dale Jarrett up the backstretch.
There's Earnhardt just behind the Kenny Wallace cars you were saying, Ned. They moving in on Jimmy Hensley, the pole sitter, moving up above the damaged car of Ward Burton, the car number 75. And now a bit for the lead is Dale Jarrett. Maybe Morgan Shepherd's prediction coming true a little bit early here. Jarrett just can't quite squeeze enough bottom of the racetrack to get around Michael Waltrip.
Michael has a lot of horsepower down the straightaway. So does Jarrett, but he just couldn't muscle quite enough that time to make the pass.
And some of the drivers we mentioned that are out of the race: Gant, Steve Burgess, Jack Sprague, Morgan Shepherd, and Tommy Houston. And of course, behind the wall, Steve Grissom. I should say Rich Burgess, the former NASCAR Dash Series driver. He has had the car today, the car number 37.
Jerry, we see the blue car, number 96 of Tom Peck. Now, he is 2 laps down, but we mentioned that he changed tires during the caution, and that's what got him 2 laps down. He was in that spin down there, and so with those new tires, not taking anything away from his normal ability to run, but the new tires are certainly helping him. He's up there trying to get one of his laps back, but now Dale Jarrett trying to take the lead.
Dale Jarrett will try to have some room coming out of turn 4. Walter, remember, awfully strong. He jumps back in the throttle and pulls Jarrett by 3 car lengths here at the stripe.
Well, I tell you, that's tough to do when you get all the way into turn 4, is to keep the car down there and get the traction that you need coming off of that turn, because when you get out there, that wall is looking you straight in the face, and you've got to turn square left, and it's awfully hard to stay down there and be able to stay on the gas all the way.
And also, Ned, with these V6 motors, Dale Jarrett has to be bogging it down a little bit, trying to get the car cut to the bottom of the track in turn 4.
Yeah, he's pinching it a little bit there, no question about it. And as you say, the V6 engine, they don't have the horsepower, of course, that a V8 would have, but they do produce a tremendous amount of horsepower with just 6 cylinders.
Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, then comes the lap car of Tom Peck. No slouch himself. He was the highest finishing Busch Series regular at Daytona, finished 6th, and that's Mark Thomas on car number 96. He is there trying to get at least one of his laps back. And there's a 27-year-old Owensboro, Kentucky product, Michael Waltrip, and of course Dale Jarrett. Driving the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. He'll be in the Sitco car and the Wood Brothers car tomorrow.
He's beating Michael through turns 3, but he just can't get enough momentum to beat him off of turn 4. Now, talking about Tom Peck, you know, he was a dirt track champion from up in Pennsylvania before he came into Busch Grand National Racing. He told me last week, I asked him, why did he always run so well at Darlington? He said, well, you know, he runs better on the big tracks. He thought he would run better on the short tracks, but he said the big tracks, you have to set the car up loose, sort of like dirt track racing. He said you sort of slide them around. That surprised me, but it's working well for him.
And once again, that's Dale Jarrett's favorite spot. He just keeps trying, but Tom Peck is on his rear deck there. He doesn't have to worry too much about Tom. He knows Tom's a couple of laps down, but trying to make a move around Michael Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip, third place car. He's right behind Tom Peck. That's the Western Auto colors. Back and forth is Bobby Labonte. As Darrell now doing a little bit of getting his car a little out of shape coming out of turn 2. And here is Dale Earnhardt. He is currently being shown in the 8th position. Taking a look at where he started back in 40th. Now here at lap 45, being shown in 8th and trying to move in on Kenny Wallace in the car number 36, a Cox Wood preserving car.
Here comes Ernie Irvin on the inside of Bobby Labonte. Labonte had tried to make a pass on Darrell Waltrip going into turn 3. He had to back off, and that cost him because Ernie Irvin got up beside of him. Now he's going to lose that position, and here comes Jimmy Hensley. He might lose another position.
Bobby Labonte backing up a little bit. I'm sure there'll be some discussions in his pit between his dad, Bob Labonte, and some of the crew as to how they can adjust that car. Jimmy Hensley really getting high, and Dale Earnhardt will take the advantage because Kenny Wallace had to get on the brakes, and that allows Earnhardt to slide by.
Maybe a little bit of intimidation there, Jerry. When you see that big black car coming up there, and although these guys have raced against him quite a bit, but not nearly as much as some of the Western Cup drivers, and that might be a little bit intimidating.
No, he wouldn't do that when he did. Earnhardt bobbing and weaving a little bit, trying to get his car gathered back in. Let's take a look again just moments ago in turn 3. Now Earnhardt trying to make a move inside of Kenny Wallace.
Yeah, and he got the left wheels down on the flat spot, but he was able to hang on, just drove on around. Kenny had to get off the gas, made the pass.
And he keeps sawing them off one by one. Logs keep falling off the wagon, as they say, and Earnhardt is headed toward the front. 50 laps complete, 147 comprise the Pontiac Pacesetters 200.
Here's Tom Peck trying to move on the inside of Dale Jarrett. Jarrett has dropped back a little bit. Michael Waltrip has pulled away from him, so I don't know if his car is getting a little bit loose or what the situation is, but Michael is definitely pulling away from him.
Trouble in turn 3. A couple of cars have come together over there. That is the Todd Bodine car along with Jimmy Spencer. Spencer, the green car to the left of your screen. Bodine is the white car with the red number 34. Those cars came together, did a tremendous job of keeping those cars from spinning. They both got door to door and tagged the wall, and Bodine brought his car back under control, as did the veteran Jimmy Spencer.
They did a great job, Jared. They certainly did on this racetrack to be able to get them back under control. It looks like they're on a half-a-mile track out there sometime, the way they're dicing around.
Todd Bodine is going to be another great young race driver, as his brothers Brett and Jeff. Of course, Jeff Bodine on the pole for tomorrow's Trans-South 500 here. There's Tommy Ellis right behind Todd Bodine in the car number 56, the Lewis Cooper Motorsports car. And here again is that little shunt up in turn 3.
Boy, they got sideways. That's the car number 34 of Todd Bodine, and he does a great job of getting that car straightened out. And Jeff Gordon did a good job of avoiding it going down on the inside of the car number 1. And Michael Waltrip is off the pace. Dale Jarrett is taking the lead.
Michael Waltrip, our leader from the drop of the green flag, has led 52 laps and now slowed and now seems to be catching back a little bit. But no, apparently he doesn't quite have it. Apparently, we would guess they had, what, lost a cylinder?
Yeah, I believe he's lost a cylinder, Jared, because he seems to go through the corners okay, but when he hits the straightaway, he just pulls down and lets the cars go on by.
Well, his engine builder, Mike Fryer, just about builds them bulletproof because this car was so strong earlier in the year. Finished second at Daytona, won last spring at Dover, Delaware, but this car suddenly slows. You see the yellow car to the left of your screen now suddenly slowing. He pulls to the inside, and of course, Dale Jarrett takes the lead. Let's check in the Michael Waltrip pits with Benny Parsons.
Bill, what's wrong with the car?
You got a miss in the engine. I think it lost the cylinder.
The car was running so good.
Yeah, the car was running really well. He started off, the car was a little bit loose, but he said it wasn't nothing he couldn't handle until the first pit stop. I guess the day's over.
This is nothing you can fix, right?
No, nothing we can fix. Really not worth it, not the points or anything. Not worth it to fix it and go back out.
Another disappointment down in the Michael Waltrip pit, Jared.
And Darrell Waltrip can't be real happy right now either, Benny, because he just got passed for second place by Bobby Labonte. The Penrose Firecracker sponsored Oldsmobile for the youngster Bobby Labonte. He takes second spot away from Darrell Waltrip.
I think he has the fastest car on the racetrack, Bobby Labonte, car number 44. He ran great at Rockingham this year. Thought he had the race won. There's Tom Peck trying to get one of his laps back. He's been on the inside of Jarrett. Looked like he tried to go to the outside that time, but look at Labonte coming up on him.
A lot of insiders thought Bobby Labonte would get his first ever Busch Series win here this week. We'll answer that question and more when we come back to Darlington after this. Easily up in turns 1 and 2.
Just kept it right down on the bottom of the racetrack, Jerry, and drove around him like if Darrell just pulled over and said, go on by. And Darrell Waltrip didn't do that. Bobby Labonte just has the race car. Now he's moving up on Dale Jarrett.
And Dale Jarrett's car is not handling well at all. He has been wrestling a bucking Bronco his last few laps as the laps are approaching their first and possibly only pit stop of the day. Let's check in and see what that pit strategy may actually be. Benny Parsons?
Jerry, I just talked to John Irvin, the crew chief on Dale Jarrett's automobile, and he says they need to get to lap 75 so they can be halfway and just make one stop. That means Dale Jarrett has to fight this thing for another 16 laps before he can pit. And as you said, he right now has a handful. Whether or not he can have it for another 15 or 16 laps, let's see.
Don't believe he'll hang on to the lead that long, Benny, because Bobby Labonte is there.
You get a shot of his cockpit inside the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. Looks like he's swatting flies in there. That's not what he's doing at all, folks. He is wrestling that steering wheel. That car very loose as Bobby Labonte now putting the pressure on the leader. And, of course, we'll be able to go in-car tomorrow. We'll have in-car cameras here tomorrow for the Trans-South 500 coverage, and you will see Dale Jarrett as he wrestles his Citgo Ford around this racetrack for 500 miles. Here are the two combatants who got together a little bit earlier, and now they make a pass a little cleaner than they did a few laps ago. That is, of course, the 45 of Jimmy Spencer and Todd Bodine in the car number 34.
Just 9th and 10th position they're running in.
Back up front, Dale Jarrett amazingly able to hold off Bobby Labonte. We know Labonte's car must be considerably stronger than Jarrett, but the track is very, very slick. And of course, Earnhardt now will take the 5th spot. Dale Earnhardt being shown in the top 5 on the leaderboard for the first time today. And where is the 4th place car? Well, right there is the car number 10, Earnhardt's good old buddy, Ernie Irvan. And there's the lead car. Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte in 2nd place, Darrell Waltrip 3rd, and just to the back you saw that yellow car, the Mac Tools Chevrolet for Ernie Irvan. And now we'll see if Bobby Labonte has just enough room off turn 2. His car not sticking that well either right now.
Well, all of their tires are worn and hot, Jerry, no question about it. It was amazing to see Bobby Labonte go by Darrell Waltrip there. Now Waltrip has caught him back. He backed off a little bit and let his tires cool a little bit, so he has caught both of them back. And sometimes that is helpful. Bobby is up there using his tires up now. Trying to get into it.
We are just 11 laps away from halfway, and there's 3 or 4 drivers up front who can't wait to see those cross flags and the halfway signal so they can get these cars on pit road under a green flag stop and change tires. Now, will they change 4 tires? Will they change 2 tires?
I think they'll change 4 tires, Jerry. The radial sort of dictates that. That will be interesting to see, but I believe they will change 4 tires.
And remember, the pit rules have changed here. There's no alternating odd and even anymore today or tomorrow as far as the Winston Cup goes. You can hit the first lap after the green flag has been redisplayed. You cannot change tires, of course, under the yellow flag without a penalty. These drivers not concerned about caution flags right now. They're waiting to try to get these cars on the pit road and get them dialed in. That'll be 1 stop and 1 stop only. Fuel, 4 tires, and it's all up to the man who sits in that seat with those seat belts on to take the car to victory lane.
Now, the fans are wondering what happened to Tom Peck after he passed Jarrett a little bit ago. He is driven away from him. And again, he has 4 fresher tires on because he did have that 2-lap penalty. Now Peck is only 1 lap down. So he might not have to change tires again. These tires are getting awfully hot and worn by the end of the race.
Let's check in the pits with Benny Parsons. Benny?
Jerry, we're talking about these drivers fighting the cars and they're sliding all over the racetrack. Let me tell you what happened. When they started the race, Dale Jarrett was running a speed of 32 seconds flat, 32.00 around the racetrack. Now he's down to 33.30. He slowed down over 1.25 seconds in just 66 laps. That's what we mean by fighting a bucking bronco. When the cars slow down 1/2 second, these drivers can tell it. 1.25 seconds is like an eternity to them.
Indeed, these laps winding down right now toward the halfway point. 66 laps complete, 74 is halfway. So just 8 laps away, these drivers will be able to get down pit road. So we'll get back and catch those pit stops under the green flag as Dale Jarrett shows the way from Darlington. Don't go away. We'll be back after this. And we're beginning to see pit stops. Darrell Waltrip could not make it to halfway as he's the first among the leaders to bring that Chevrolet down pit road. Eddie Jones and the crew waiting. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
Darrell Waltrip has brought the Western Auto car to a stop. They're going to the right side. Let's see what kind of strategy. They're also beating up the rear spoiler, trying to put a little bit more weight on the rear end, a little better grip, also making a chassis adjustment. The right side has changed. They're bringing the jack around. They will change 4 tires. And it sounds like the car has stalled. Now they've got it fired back up. Also a chassis adjustment on the left side. So making a huge chassis adjustment and 4 tires on the number 17.
Boy, that's a costly pit stop. Over 37 seconds for Darrell Waltrip. Most of these drivers would hope to do that in about 24 or 25. Now, Kenny Wallace made a pit stop at the same time that Darrell Waltrip is, and Kenny is still in the pits. They had a jack problem on his car, so Kenny Wallace, the Busch Grand National point leader, still on pit road, losing a lot of valuable time. Now he finally gets going. That pit stop had to be at least 40 seconds. He went 2 laps down.
And a tough break for Kenny Wallace, the car owned by, of course, brother Rusty Wallace.
Tommy Ellis is spinning out on pit road. Tommy Ellis has spun out. He came into his pits, locked the brakes, and around he went. And now he's spinning it around the other way to try to get back so the crew can go to work on that car. That cost the former Busch Grand National champion a lot of time.
And now Bruce Page and the rest of that Lewis Cooper crew will go to work on Tommy Ellis' Buick. There is the former national champion, likable young man from Richmond, Virginia. A tough break for him coming down. They're pitting way up toward turn 4, so a lot of speed on those cars, a lot of momentum, hard to get them slowed down. see them working. They will likewise change 4 tires. So Darrell Waltrip has been in. His pit stop, 37 seconds. Kenny Wallace came in. They had a jack problem. He lost 2 laps in the pits. And now another veteran has trouble. Tommy Ellis. His car spun on pit road. It'll be halfway this time by for our leader, Dale Jarrett. There's Dale Earnhardt, who's now being shown in 3rd spot. The cross flags going up for Dale Jarrett. There's the front Pontiac.
I expect Jarrett to be coming in this time, Jerry. I don't know. We'll see. Because he had said this morning, Ernie Irvin is in the pits. So is Jimmy Hensley. David Green coming in. We'll see if the other leaders come in this time around. Jarrett goes into turn 3 as we watch the work on Jimmy Hensley's car.
Bobby King and the crew now changing tires on the Don Beverly-owned Oldsmobile.
Dale Earnhardt about to come into the pits. Jarrett and Bobby Labonte stays out there.
So as Hensley's car gets serviced, changing now left side tires, we see Dale Earnhardt's car make an entry on the pit road way up toward turn 4. Let's go to John Kernan. John?
Crew going to work on the right side of the car. Now you might say, hey, this looks like Dale Earnhardt's Winston Cup crew out there doing the tire changes, but no, this is his regular crew. But they have taken a few lessons, if you will, from Dale's Sunday crew, and they say it has helped them tremendously. The right side's already gone. The lefts are going off. The jack went down. Now they're having to jack the car back up, losing some time. It looks like the jack might be broken or malfunctioned. There's a little the fluid in it maybe has leaked out just a bit. Now he is down, finally away. A pretty good pit stop, but he did lose just a little bit of time here in the pits.
And Dale Jarrett's in the pits. 51-year-old John Irvin and the rest of that crew now begin to work on that car. You see Earnhardt now having got his 4 tire changed. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
They're changing the right side, coming around for the left side. Very good stop on the right side of the car. The windshield has been cleaned. John Irvin has cleaned off the grill. The car is almost stalled. It sounds like the carburetor. They're having some trouble with the left rear. Lynn Wood is changing the left rear, having all kinds of problems. They now have the thing on in the car, and the car is stalled. They're pushing the car. He fires it away it goes, but a terrible, terrible stop for Dale Jarrett. We'll see how he stacks up back on the racetrack.
Well, that was a long pit stop, a little over 29 seconds, Benny, and that left rear is really what hurt him there. So that'll cost him some time out on the racetrack as he goes around Butch Miller as Butch goes into the pits on the backstretch. So we'll see how they stack up once everybody's made those green flag stops.
And here is Bobby Labonte, the 26-year-old driver from Corpus Christi, Texas. Now his dad, Bob Labonte, will get ready to make the service on that car. Here is, of course, Michael Waltrip, our early leader, who had the mechanical trouble and slowed down. Let's check in with Benny Parsons on the Bobby Labonte stop. Benny?
Once again, they're changing the right sides on this car. I don't know if they're going to change the lefts or not. Bobby has the car running. The second can of gas is going in. The jack is coming around. And yes, they are going to change 4 tires as well. Jeff Troxler has the jack under the car. It's up. Looks like a pretty good stop so far. The car is still running. Everyone has been stalled in the car trying to leave. The car goes away. Good stop for the Bobby Labonte crew.
27.8 seconds then. There's smoke coming out of the right front fender.
Well, there was, especially when he was jacked up there, Jerry. I don't know if maybe a little oil was spilling on a header or something. I don't know what the problem was, but it doesn't look like as he goes out of this that there's any problem with it. So we'll see once he gets up to speed. There is a smoker on the racetrack, car number 75 of Ward Burton, smoking going into turn. There's that smoke we were talking about on Labonte's car. I believe that might be just a little oil or something spill over on the header while they're stopped there for that pit stop. See, once he pulls away, you don't see the smoke.
Well, I'm sure he heated those brakes up a little bit, too, coming down pit road. The car's coming down from speeds of 160 miles an hour to try to get the car stopped in the pits. And let's check in with Benny Parsons, who was there for the pit stop. Benny?
Jerry Punch, there's some water coming out of Bobby Labonte's car. It's on pit road. Now, whether or not it's too much come out for the car to overheat, we don't know. We'll go down and check with Bob Labonte. We'll get back with you.
Well, that answers the question. Thank you very much, Benny Parsons. So a possible overheating problem. Wouldn't that be a terrible shame? Because Bobby Labonte has been so strong at tracks like Darlington and Rockingham and some of the intermediate tracks at Dover, Delaware. And he has yet to get that first Busch Series win, but it's not over yet. If he can just keep that car maybe out of race traffic, he'll have a good shot at getting a win today.
Well, Jerry, the fellow that's leading this race is Robert Presley, who was involved in a spin earlier in car number 59. He came in for gas and a check on that car then, so he can go a little ways as far as gas is concerned, so he hasn't made a green flag pit stop yet. Robert Presley we're talking about.
Robert Presley, the car number 59, and of course his dad Bob Presley for many years, one of the toughest competitors you ever wanted to see on the short tracks of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. There's Dale Earnhardt now moving around. Remember, they are getting a laps back because they have been on pit road. They have all lost a lap, and so Earnhardt just now getting back in the lead lap. 82 laps complete of 147, which comprise the Pontiac Pacesetters 200. Robert Presley showing the way as a lot of fans enjoying the beautiful sun here in the racing action at Darlington.
The Suzuki Katana 750. It relieves aching muscles fast.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. Do you copy? 117. San 216, we copy. Approaching 6900 block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radials than any other brand of tires.
Back at Darlington International Raceway, stop number 7 on the $4.5 million Busch Series Tour. Again, it's the 10th anniversary for Busch Series Grand National Racing, and what a way to celebrate it here at Darlington. Today's Speedworld coverage is being brought to you by Citgo, home of high-quality gasolines with HTA 1000 super detergent. By Nestle's Crunch. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle's Crunch. And by Busch Beer. Head for the mountains of Busch. Six laps being shown in the books here at Darlington. 147 comprise this event. There's the car number 8 of David Green. Bobby Hamilton drove that car a year ago. Nearly picked up a win here at Darlington.
And he ran out of gas right near the end. Well, the Robert Presley car has made a pit stop, Jerry, and that gives the lead to Bobby Dotter.
There's Robert Presley, who just came out of the pits. Good run going for that Ricky Pearson prepared car. The Alliance Vector Training Services Oldsmobile.
Now, we understand that Bobby Dotter also made a pit stop for fuel during one of the caution periods, so that would let him go a little longer out there than those that didn't make the stop. So he is the leader now.
Bobby Dotter, the son of 3-time ARCA Series champion Bob Dotter, and decided to come south and make a name for himself in Busch Series racing.
Well, the car going very high. Came pretty close to that wall, Jerry, as he went into turn 1. In fact, it looks like he might be slowing down, is he? Yes, he is. As Robert Presley goes by, he might have just, no, he didn't slow down for Presley to go by. He's off the pace. He might be coming into the pits. He might be running low in fuel. So if he does, then that would put Bobby Labonte back into the lead.
Well, apparently the tire is just going away now for Bobby Dotter, who made that pit stop early during one of the caution flags. Remember, you can't change tires, but you can add fuel. And now he decides to come down off the track and go get some fresh rubber. Let's check in and see what the tire wear situation really is with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punt, you and Ned Jarrett talked at the beginning of the show how important tire wear was going to be today. These tires start with 4.5 30 seconds. This is the right rear off Dale Jarrett's car. You see the 2, that's how many 30 seconds there is left. So the tire is more than half worn out, but the race only has halfway to go. So I don't think tires are going to really be a problem today.
Well, Goodyear having done their homework. Remember, they're running the radial tires here for the first time as we watch the Bobby Dotter pit stop, and there's the leader, Bobby Labonte, in the car number 44, Jeff Burton, another good, impressive young driver. Remember Jeff Burton's win last year on ESPN up at Martinsville, Virginia? What an exciting young man he was, and he is going to be a great one. Talking about Jeff Burton and the Armour Food Line sponsored Chevrolet, the car number 99, but Bobby Labonte, the Penrose Firecracker Oldsmobile, and young Bobby Labonte got married last Friday a week ago, we should say, and spent his honeymoon at Hickory Speedway. There's Dale Jarrett, second place car. He won that race at Hickory last week, and he decided to go ahead and have a honeymoon. Went to Hilton Head, South Carolina for the first couple of days of this week, and now came back to Darlington. What a way to celebrate his wedding, maybe picking up his first Busch Series win ever.
That just shows how much these fellas love auto racing, Jerry. Now, not that more than he loved his bride, but, you know, let's keep them close together, Breakery and Wright, you know, because he's going to be in this business for a long time. And he might as well get a rope in right.
But the crew now kidded him, Ned, because he got married on Friday and he didn't make the field at Hickory on Saturday. He had to take a provisional starting spot, but he just chalked it up to fatigue, he said.
Okay. And there's trouble or a smoker down in turn 1 and 2.
Looks like Elton Sawyer, the car number 27. A lot of smoke out of that car.
Walton and Meek's car, and the caution flag is out. Walton Hot Dogs, he advertises on the Buick number 27. Tough break for Elton.
And he had been running awfully well, and he brings that car, the A.G. Dillard-owned car, Elton Sawyer. Good-looking young man, and he got married earlier in the year to Patty Moise, another race driver, back in Jacksonville, Florida in the fall. We are under caution for the 4th time today. Caution flag being displayed for the erupted engine in the Elton Sawyer car. 93 laps complete as we're winding down. Can Bobby Labonte hold off Off-Road Grand Prix? And at 9 p.m., Saturday Night Thunder coming your way once again from the USAC Midgets in Ventura, California. So a whole Saturday evening of racing coming your way right here on ESPN. Darrell Waltrip now making his way back down pit road. This would be, of course, an unscheduled stop. They can't change tires. We'll see what they're going to do in the pits.
They can change the weight distribution, Jerry. That's exactly what they're doing, right, Benny?
Exactly right, Ned. But they're killing bite. I thought they was putting bite in a little bit ago. Evidently, the car is pushing too much, because that's what Eddie Jones and the crew did that time, was take some wedge out of the automobile. They're looking at everything. Darrell gets him a nice drink. Since he has to go to the rear of the field, there's no rush. He now drives away.
Well, we'll see if that adjustment will make a difference for his Western Auto Chevrolet. This is the car that Darrell, remember, Darrell was injured back last fall and couldn't drive, and Greg Sachs took this same car here and put it on the pole at Darlington. Had a shot at winning it, had an engine problem just a few laps from the end of that race. Dale Jarrett came on to win from starting back in 28th spot. We are still under caution here at Darlington, South Carolina. Bobby Labonte holds off Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt, as well as Ernie Irvin. That's the top 4. 5th is Todd Bodine. Don't go away.
ESPN Home Video presents Bill Elliott, Racing into History. The only video that shows you why this man became a racer and how he became a champion. Hosted by ESPN's Benny Parsons, you'll feel the excitement of driving with Bill as he wins NASCAR's biggest prize, the Winston Million.
Bill Elliott gets the checkered flag. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
Get an insider's look at the Dawsonville shops where Bill's cars are made. Ride with him at over 150 miles an hour and listen in as he and Ernie plan their race strategies. Order your copy for only $19.95. Call 1-800-533-1800. That's 1-800-533-1800. Bill Elliott is one of America's premier NASCAR drivers and most popular heroes, and Racing into History lets you enjoy the excitement of driving with Bill again and again. Call today, 1-800-533-1800.
April is filled with TV you've got to see on ESPN. Major League Baseball leads off with an opening day doubleheader, plus live games 4 nights a week. Jack's back in full swing, joining the seniors at the Tradition. Our team watches your team make its picks at the NFL Draft. Don't miss NASCAR's best, speeding by with 4 Winston Cup races, and top thoroughbreds heading down the stretch towards the Kentucky Derby. April's National Cable Month, TV you've got to see on ESPN.
Well, NASCAR flagman Mike Harwood has signaled the 1 lap to go. Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Hensley being shown as the 4th place car now. They've readjusted the lineup a little bit, and Ernie Irvin is the 5th place car. 6 through 10 is Todd Bodine, Ned, Joe Nemechek,
Ed Barrier, Michael Waltrip still, but he just went a lap down. He's in the pits with the hood up on it, so he now will drop out of the top 10. Robert Presley up there in the top 10, and we're showing 15 cars in the lead lap. Now there will only be 14 as we get ready to go green as they come off a turn 4.
Bobby Labonte bringing them down very slowly. Green flag waving once again. They cut out 3 and 4 wide here in the front stretch, but they're going to have to get back in the file. Single line here in turn 1.
Well, it narrows down in a hurry when they go into that turn. You can see they're still running side by side back in the pack. But Bobby Labonte got himself out in good position, a good jump on Dale Jarrett on the restart. There's Dale Earnhardt behind Dale Jarrett.
Now we'll see who's got the strength. All these cars up front have fresh tires, 4 tires being put on the car. There's Dale Earnhardt.
There was a near miss, Jerry, back in the pack as
that's Troy
Beebe in the car number 9, yes.
And Cecil Eunice in the orange and green car. Those two cars nearly coming together last lap in turn 3.
And Darrell Waltrip was right behind him as he tries to make his way back through the pack after making that pit stop. So Waltrip would be back in about 14th position.
Well, the two youngsters have pulled away a little bit from Dale Earnhardt. His Chevrolet car number 3 being shown in the 3rd spot, but Earnhardt realizes there's plenty of time. There's 100 laps complete now, still 47 to go. Bobby Labonte in the Oldsmobile, the Pontiac of Dale Jarrett. Then comes the Goodwrench Chevrolet, the Tony Uri Rick Boss prepared car, which Dale Earnhardt actually drives for car owner Teresa Earnhardt.
I'll tell you, Dale Jarrett's car is really getting through turns 3 and 4, Jerry. When he was racing with Michael Waltrip, that seems to where he had the advantage earlier in the race, and now he has caught Bobby Labonte again, and he did most of it through turns 3 and 4.
And the fans may want to wonder, well, why isn't he getting as well through turns 1 and 2? But this track is totally different. Turns 1 and 2 is much narrower and banked a little higher.
You can't set a race car up on this racetrack where it gets through all the turns good. You got to sacrifice one place or the other. Most drivers would rather that their cars work good through 3 and 4, and they'll wrestle with them through turns 1 and 2 because it's not as long and the banking is a little bit steeper there.
Getting a lap time on our leader, Bobby Labonte. He comes by, showing 32 seconds even, and that speed 153.675 miles per hour. And considered the heat this afternoon and what a beautiful day in the tire wear, that's not a bad lap.
No, it's not a bad lap at all. And those tires they have on now, Jerry, have about 25 laps on them, so they're getting heated up and worn, so they've dropped off. They were running in the 31-second bracket after they put those 4 new tires on, but once they got heated up, then they began to drop off a little bit.
And Darrell Waltrip, we have him on the clock. Remember, he came down pit road and got that fine tuning of his chassis, but he is back in heavy traffic trying to get beneath the Cecil Eunice car, moving up on the Jeff Green machine as he comes by. Remember, 32 seconds for the leader and 33.1 for Waltrip, but he was in traffic, so it really doesn't reflect how well that car could run.
Not really, Jerry, because that hurt him. Ernie Irvan is in the pits. He was one of the top 10 cars, and Ernie Irvan now off the pace in the pits for an unscheduled pit stop.
That's the Maxwell Chevrolet of Ernie Irvan. He owns that car.
Hood goes up, bad sign. Benny's right down there. Benny, what do you know?
They really don't know what's wrong. Everyone is looking. They're looking right, looking left. They're communicating with Ernie on the radio, but now it seems to be well, they're coming back on the left side. They're telling Ernie that evidently they can't find the problem. I guess the car is out. If they bring behind the wall, we'll try to get a word with Ernie.
Ben, it's awfully hard to raise that hood and look under there and see what's wrong anyway, and especially if it's something wrong inside the engine.
Boy, that is right. Ernie waved at me, so I guess the spirits is not down anyway.
Not a tough break for Ernie Irvan. He'll pull the car out of pit road slowly, and he's going to head back on the track and try to ride it out a little bit if he can. He's having a good run there. Ernie Irvan has only run 3 races this year in his own Busch Series operation. He was telling me yesterday in the garage area, I haven't finished a 1 yet. Maybe this will be my day. Well, we got news for Ernie. It's like it's going to be 0 for 4 here so far, but a tough break. But hey, when you win the Daytona 500, you still had a good year.
That's the truth. You can do whatever else you do the rest of the year is okay, because that can make a year for a driver. But he's sort of getting in the car owner's role there and learning what it's all about. The disappointments can come along.
This is our field snapshot. We give you, the fans at home, a chance to pick out your favorite cars. You know their color schemes, their sponsors. They come by. We hold our camera here, just looking up this 1,200-foot straightaway, up toward turn 4. Tom Peck coming by, and that Mark Thomas owned car number 96. Getting ready for leaders there. Of course, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett. Now you see Dale Earnhardt coming through. Jimmy Hensley.
Now, see, Jerry, they've slowed down to 32.5 seconds. The last time we clocked them about 5 or 6 laps ago, they were running 32 seconds. But now, as those tires get heated up, it'll just slow them down. There's not a thing they can do about it.
Now, I wonder if Bobby Labonte's got to be thinking this is a little bit of deja vu here, because he has led so many races, and when Bobby Labonte leads a lot of laps like he did here last year, like he did at Rockingham, he led 72 laps at Rockingham this year. The fellow who always passes him to win the race is Dale Jarrett.
I don't know why it works that way. They love racing with each other, and I believe, might not be right, but I believe Dale Jarrett is sitting there trying not to slide in the turns, trying to be as smooth as he can be through those turns, although Bobby Labonte is very smooth, trying to save those tires as much as he possibly can and then try to make the go at it for, say, the last 20 laps.
I wonder what's going through Earnhardt's mind. That he has dropped back some 15, maybe 20, maybe put it 30 car lengths now. And he's sitting back there cooling his jets, probably waiting for a yellow flag.
Yeah, I think that's about his only hope. I don't think he has the race car to do it right now.
Here in the pack, Kenny Wallace, Chuck Bown, Jeff Gordon, and David Green, 13th through 16th. Kenny Wallace.
And they're all the lap down, Jerry. There are 11 cars being shown now in the lead lap. Of course, they are Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Hensley in 4th, and in 5th place, the car number 34 of Todd Bodine, and then Robert Presley is 6th. Joe Nemechek is 7th. In 8th place is Phil Parsons having a good run today in his Busch Grand National car. In 9th, the car number 33 of Ed Berrier. 10th is Darrell Walters, and 11th, Ed Ferree. Those are 11 cars in the lead lap.
And a battle for 3rd spot, Jimmy Hensley. Our pole sitter here today, Hensley having won his 2nd pole in a row, picking up 1 at Hickory last week. He makes a move, and they just about touch coming out of turn 2, and Hensley keeps the car down to the inside, and he will try to make the move inside of Earnhardt. They shuffle into turn 3.
Earnhardt backs off and lets him go. He knows that's not the place to be. A lot of times Earnhardt, he'll do that, especially in Winston Cup, and then he'll dive as that car that passed him slides up a little bit, he'll dive back under, but he didn't do it that time.
And here's that battle back for 13th position. And Chuck Bown has been able to move around the Kenny Wallace car to take 13th. The Bown is 13th, Wallace 14th. Jeff Gordon is 14th. There is Todd Bodine in the white and red numeral number 34 in 16th spot. Back behind them is David Green in 17th, the car number 8. All over the track now. Todd Bodine, and whoa, Todd, that's where you had trouble a couple of laps ago up in turn 3. So Todd's car not handling as well as he would like. He tried to make a move inside.
He's on the scoreboard running in 5th place, but those cars in front of him are lap down.
And the man they're chasing right here, car number 44, Bobby Labonte, at 112 laps complete, and they won't need any more stops on pit road. Just green flag racing, and we'll cover it when we come back after this.
Basically, trucks are...
Car Jimmy Hensley is concerned, but he is off the pace just a little bit. So he apparently has radioed to the crew that he feels like the tire might be going down. Benny Parsons, what do you know about it?
Well, Ned, it's not really good news. Dale has as you said, radioed the crew and said the car has developed a bad push all of a sudden, like the right front tire might be going flat. And as you said, he's still losing ground to Bobby Labonte, so there may be a flat tire. Right now, he's just riding around, seeing what happens. The crew is watching. They're ready in case he does have a flat tire.
Well, Kenny Knupp, Tim Sigmund, of course, and car owner Horace Eisenhower there, along with crew chief John Irvin, is there watching and waiting, hoping that these laps will be able to wind down before they have to make that unscheduled stop, because a stop here would cost him a lap, and it'd be very tough for him to make it up as well as Bobby Labonte is running.
Yes, it would. Bobby is running a very good race. It's been fast all day long. Here's Ed Ferree, car number 49, having a good day here. They touched a little bit there a moment ago. Let's see, Ferree in the orange and white car on the inside, and he slips up.
And the David Green in the car number 8, the Phil Martosione car, and Ferree, a rookie driver, as is Green. Both of them are rookies this year. Did a great job. Ed Ferree coming off his best finish, actually equaling his best finish in Busch Series history. He finished 5th last week at Hickory and almost won that race at Hickory.
Yes, he did. Had a very good run there. He's currently running in the 10th position. David Green, who he was trying to pass there, is 1 lap down, running in the 17th position.
Back up front, Bobby Labonte in the Penrose Firecracker Oldsmobile. He is the leader, and we'll back out and show you the differential between he and there is Dale Jarrett, who continues to drop back. Jarrett in the 2nd place car. What a differential between him and Jimmy Hensley, who just runs in front of Dale Earnhardt. There is Hensley, the Don Beverly owned car number 25, the Oldsmobile, and then Earnhardt in 4th.
27 laps to go. So, can Jarrett hang on? Earnhardt there running in 4th place. It's Bobby Dotter in the car 08, who led for a while, but then made a green flag pit stop, and that has put him out of the lead lap.
Bobby Dotter hanging with him, though. He's got some tires on his car, and the car holding right there with Earnhardt. There's the car number 99. That's Jeff Burton. He's being shown in 12th. 1 lap down. Looking for our 5th place car. That white red numeral car number 34. That's Mike Swaim in the Marvin and Brett Thaxton owned car. And there's the car number 34 of Todd Bodine, our 5th place car. Bodine, great run for him, and 27 years of age, the youngest of the Bodine boys. He had a good finish earlier this year in Rockingham. He finished 4th, but not his best career finish. Remember last year at Dover, Delaware on ESPN, he qualified 4th and finished 3rd. So Todd Bodine really showing a lot of potential here early on in his first year of full-time racing in the Busch Series.
He's in a good position there, Jerry, sort of out on the racetrack by himself, so he can set the pace that he wants to. He knows that Dale Earnhardt, who is running in 4th place, is pretty far ahead of him, and he wants to try to maintain that position of 5th. Joe Nemechek is currently running in 6th position, and he is back some 2 or 3 seconds behind him, I guess.
Getting out of shape, Richard Lassiter again. Remember, he spun early in the day. The caution flag didn't come out, but for his spin at the same place almost off of turn 2.
Almost identical. He gets it going again as he did earlier. The NASCAR officials, of course, are watching him. He's just looking for an opening there that he can pull the car around. It looks like he's headed the wrong way down on the flat part of the track. He backs it up now so he'll have a little better angle at it.
And our leader was right behind him. Let's see, here's Bobby Labonte just coming into turns 1 and 2, and right up in front of Labonte, Richard Lassiter, the 25-year-old rookie from Little Rock, Arkansas, brings the car down off the track. He did a good job of getting the car off the main racing groove so he wouldn't come back up in front of the leaders. Spins the car, keeps it out of the wall, but he loses a lot of valuable time.
And
No
Bobby
yellow flag.
Labonte was glad to see him move down to the inside of the track, Jerry, out of his way. I'm sure that Bobby had an anxious moment there and said, please don't come back up in the groove. And sure enough, he went on out of the way.
Well, they were kidding Bobby Labonte last week because he got married and didn't make the field. He's going to make up for it. Went on his honeymoon, came to Darlington and said, I think I might get my first win. After all, I got another mouth to feed now, so I got to make a little money. So Bobby Labonte doing a tremendous job here, looking to pick up his first ever Busch Series win.
And if he does, he would become the 7th different winner in 7 races so far this year.
7 races and 7 faces. Parody, as we said at the top of the show. Benny Parsons did it so well, and John Kernan in the pits. Ed Jarrett here in the booth, and I'm Jerry Punch, bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage. Our field snapshot of these Busch Grand National Series cars as they come out of turn 4. The clock on our lead car as he hustles off to turn 1 and 2. Give you a chance to pick out your favorite driver. There's Jeff Gordon going by.
Now Dale Jarrett's beginning to gain a little bit again on Bobby Labonte. Maybe he figured out that tire wasn't going flat. I don't think he would have put out a decoy there and slowed down a little bit and let Bobby think that he was going to have a problem and then save those tires for the end of the race. You don't think he would have done that?
No, he wouldn't have done. He wouldn't do anything like that, Ned. He didn't learn from one of the best at all. 155.6 miles an hour, a little over 31 and a half seconds as one car showing a lot of smoke in turn 3, but Bobby Labonte leading the way here in Darlington as the laps are winding down. Just 20 laps to go. Great crowd on hand. Don't go away.
Hey, Mike, hand me my channel light pliers.
Moments ago, up in turns 3 and 4, a violent crash. And we mentioned one car going to break, one car was smoking. There is the Robert Presley car, who had run so well earlier in the day and was one of the leaders in this early part of the event. His car showing a lot of smoke, but up in turn 4, Ned, Darrell Waltrip spins.
And Ed Ferree comes in and hits Darrell pretty hard and then goes into the wall. That's Waltrip spinning on around one more time. And he still doesn't have the car under control as Ferree goes out of the screen on the left. Waltrip down out of the way of the traffic. Now, the leaders were not too far behind this. They were going into turn 3 when this happened. But, of course, they did get slowed down and no problem as far as they were concerned.
Well, there's Eddie Jones and the rest of the Western Auto crew waiting anxiously for Darrell Waltrip, and our Benny Parsons is there.
We can see the damage to the left side of the automobile. I asked Eddie Jones what happened to Darrell Walter. He said as Darrell went into turn 3, hit the brakes, momentarily there wasn't a pedal there. And before he could pump him up and get a pedal, the car had spun out. So there's no one to blame except Darrell himself. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of chassis damage. Most of the lick was right in the driver's door. And that evidently Darrell is okay because he's driving around the racetrack. Work continues, but they can't change tires. Remember, you would normally see these fellows change 4 tires in a situation like this. In 1991, there's no change in tires on the caution flag. They have to look at it and send him back on the racetrack. Jerry?
Well, Darrell Waltrip may be okay, but looks like Ed Ferree was hobbled a little bit getting out of the car. His car, he tried to turn his car away from Darrell Waltrip. It looked like he had no choice, either concrete wall or Western Auto Chevrolet, and Ed Ferree's car heavily damaged. The Terry Allen prepared machine, who has run so well early on. He is one of the rookie competitors, the oldest rookie running this year in Busch Series competition at 39 years of age, and he will go with the safety crews of the infield care center and get a checkup. Now, he did get out of the car and walk over toward, there's Ed Ferree, always smiling, a likable guy who owns his own operation, a pulverizing equipment operation up in Pennsylvania. And that car will need some pulverizing out because the sheet metal has been shoved in quite a bit on that Buick. Caution for the 5th time today here at Darlington, South Carolina. 131 laps are in the books. Just a few left here. Can Bobby Labonte hold on? We'll answer that questions and more when we come back.
(1985), 86, 87, 88, 89. For 6 straight years, the full-size pickup from GMC Truck has retained more of its original value than any other in America. That's why sales of the Sierra are growing faster than any other full-size pickup. And we intend to keep it that way in 1991 with these new Sierras. And in 92, GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road.
The time has finally come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. Now you control the flow.
Winding down, just 15 to go here at Darlington. Bobby Labonte trying to hold off the charge of Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Jimmy Hensley, and Todd Bodine. Back 6 through 10, Joe Nemechek, who had a great run last week at Hickory. Phil Parsons, a super effort in his Busch Series competition. Ed Barrier, Jeff Burton, and Jeff Gordon is 10th. Getting set to go green. Post time as you have it. And we'll have lots of racing action later today. We'll tell you more about that later. Some Kentucky Derby prep racing coming up this afternoon at 4 o'clock. But they are going to fan out wide. And that is Dale Earnhardt as he slides out and a couple of cars get out of shape.
Yeah, there are 2 back up there crossways on the racetrack. One is slid all the way down to the pit wall. So the caution is out as the green comes out. They just barely got past the start-finish line. And Dale Jarrett had gotten around Bobby Labonte on the restart, and so they'll be racing back to the flag. Their spotters have told them there's nothing on the racetrack. Bring it on around. That was Bobby Green, the black car that was down on the inside, and we see Jarrett now coming off of turn 4.
And David Green gets his car pulled away. Jarrett will try to lead him back down. They're shuffling up front. Jarrett holds off Bobby Labonte, and the caution flag waving for the 6th time today. Let's take a look again and just see what happened on the restart.
Well, of course, they're bunched up 2 abreast, as they always are, as they came off at turn 4. Look at Dale Earnhardt come out of that pack. He apparently saw something happen in front of him that he wanted to get out of the way, and I guess somebody hit the brakes when they saw him coming down through there, and then the car spun out behind him.
I actually think Earnhardt, there was a car in front of Earnhardt that had jammed the brakes on, and he just veered hard to the left to miss that car. Possibly, maybe someone missed a shift.
I think you're probably right. Let's watch it again from this angle. And you see Earnhardt's got plenty of room there. And Bobby Labonte was off to a slow start, it looked like. Not too much.
Looks like Hensley possibly, Jeff. Jimmy Hensley couldn't get the car up to speed, and Earnhardt just jerked the car hard left to miss running into the back of Jimmy Hensley. Great shot from Mike Wells, our director down there. Again, another shot inside angle. Here's Earnhardt in the 3 car. Todd Bodine behind him. As they're coming up to speed, and Hensley's car doesn't come up to speed very well.
Well, there wasn't much of anywhere he could go. I still think, Jerry, it was Bobby Labonte that didn't get off to the good start. Jarrett couldn't go anywhere, and then as a result, Hensley couldn't go anywhere. And Earnhardt had that momentum because he was back about 2 car lengths and had built up some momentum, so he had to take evasive action.
And frustrations for Cecil Eunice in the car number 19, and David Green, who was a rookie competitor, is a rookie competitor, and you see David Green, that car not exactly in racing configuration right now. The Phil Martosione car, and Kip McCord and the rest of that crew will go to work on that Oldsmobile, but a lot of heavy damage.
Yeah, and I believe the panhard bar might be broken on that car, Jerry, or something, because it looked like the body was sort of weaving back and forth as he came down the pit road. They're back there working on that part of the car.
He slammed passenger side first into that concrete retaining wall, which separates pit road from the front straightaway. Hopefully we'll be able to get a clean restart. Remember, Dale Jarrett able to get by Bobby Labonte. And Bobby says, hey, I've read this chapter of this book before. Every time I have a shot at winning, and here comes this Jarrett guy with this Nestle's car, and but it's not over yet. 135 laps, 12 to go as we get set for the green flag once again. Green is waving here at Darlington.
Bobby Labonte's off to a slow start again. His car, I don't know if he's having to start in fourth or what it is, but his car is just not getting a good start. And that cost him the lead the time before, but now he's got her going. And you'll watch him come up through there, and that's the red car there's a lap car between them, the car number 99 of Jeff Burton, but here comes Labonte. It didn't take him long once he got it going to take off, but Jarrett has about a 10-car length lead over him.
Dale Jarrett now, there's the differential between him and Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte running in second place. Dale Earnhardt is third. And Darrell Waltrip, remember that car heavily damaged just moments ago. He is back down pit road, a tough break for the Western Auto Chevrolet team.
They 9 laps to go when they come back to the start-finish line this time.
Bill Parsons, that's the white car with a number 29 on the side, the bright orange number 29. He is now being shown in fourth place. So a great run for Phil Parsons with 9 laps to go, and he is moving in on Dale Earnhardt.
Yes, he is. That's an impressive run for Phil Parsons in his own automobile. He works on that car and builds it himself, and really having a great run here today. I know that makes him feel good, especially after the way things have turned out as far as Western Cup ride is concerned.
Bill Parsons
doesn't have one.
Bill Parsons trying to get a little bit of confidence back, and with the kind of run he's having today, he'll definitely do that. Parsons now trying to make a move, moving in. A couple of car lengths separating him and Dale Earnhardt. There's Todd Bodine, the 5th place car number 34.
Bobby Labonte now is moving in on Dale Jarrett up front. As we watch that battle back there, as Todd Bodine running in the 5th spot, he has a lot of traffic behind him, but you can see that Bobby Labonte there, the red car 44, the Penrose Sausages car, catching the ice cream car. And Jarrett looks like, was he off the pace? No, I think it was just an angle. He came off that turn. Boy, I believe he slipped a little bit coming off of there because Labonte really came up on him in a hurry.
Bobby Labonte, last year was his first full year in Busch Grand National Racing. Did not get a win. Had a great year, but did not pick up that first win. Still looking for that coveted first Busch Series win. Car that he owns. Crew chief is Bob Labonte. There's Dale Earnhardt and Goodrich Chevrolet. Tom Peck having trouble holding on to his car. Track has really got to be getting slick out there. We'll take a look at Tom Peck's car as he gets together, almost gets the rear end of Todd Bodine, and Tom Peck does a great job of keeping that car from spinning around. That would have been right in front of Bobby Dotter and some of the other cars.
That cost him a couple of positions too, Jerry, because the car number 1 of Jeff Gordon got by. That was a car that's running in the same lap with him. Should be 5 laps to go when they come back to the start-finish line this time.
Dale Jarrett, a veteran here, has won. He won this race last fall. Has already won once this year at Rockingham in the same race car as we see the 5 to go mark. Bobby Labonte, 2 Busch poles a year ago, 17 top 10 finishes, but no win.
Here's Phil Parsons moving up on Dale Earnhardt again. Earnhardt running 3rd, Phil Parsons running 4th.
That's the Diamond Ridge Racing Oldsmobile for Phil Parsons.
And here's trouble down in turn 2.
Couple of cars coming together down. That's Clifford Allison and the car number 33 of Ed Barrier. So caution being shown, and they race back to the caution flag out of turn 4, and Dale Jarrett will get the advantage at the caution flag. Only 4 laps to go as we are showing caution for the 6th time today. 2 cars coming together down in turns 1 and 2. Clifford Allison at 26 years of age, the youngest son of NASCAR legend Bobby Allison, and of course that car number 33, Ed Barrier.
Quite a bit of damage to the rear of that car, Jerry, and it looks like quite a bit of damage to the right side. And in fact, it's pretty well used up. You can see as they got into the turn, it looks like they were in that shade going into the turn. The barrier car might have got up against the wall, and Allison just really didn't have much of a place to go. He got with him there and just couldn't get broken loose.
Tough break for Ed Barrier. He was being shown in the 7th position. There's a look at Ed, second-generation driver, son of Max Barrier, former noted modified competitor. He was being shown in 7th spot in the John Fayroe Racing Machine, car number 33, and then, of course, the Garner's Preserves Oldsmobile. But his day is over. Laps winding down, just a few to go. 6th caution flag today being shown, and a great crowd on hand. We'll be back in a moment after this.
Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Coming up later this afternoon here on ESPN, we invite you to join us live at Aqueduct for the Gotham Stakes. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Our telecast time this afternoon from New York, 4 to 5 p.m. We'll be featuring the third of 4 legs in New York here, heading towards the Triple Crown. First, it was the Swift Stakes, won by Mineral Ice. And then it was the Bayshore, taken by Stately Wager, likely to be the favorite here this afternoon. The Gotham coming up live on ESPN at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Back in Darlington, South Carolina, still working the 6th caution flag of the day. Dale Jarrett being shown as the leader. Bobby Labonte in 2nd place. Earnhardt is 3rd. Phil Parsons running 4th. Good run for Phil. Todd Bodine holding down the 5th spot. 6 through 10 is Hensley, Nemechek, Jeff Burton in the car number 99. Jeff Gordon, the youngster. And Tom Peck is the 10th place car. 145 of 147 laps complete, waiting for the white flag. And let's go down and check in the Dale Jarrett pits with Benny Parsons.
Well, everybody's congratulating John Irvin as the winner. John, it's over, isn't it?
Well, Benny, as I said last time we won at Rockingham, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and I don't think she sung yet. But I can't say enough for the Nestle's Crunch crew today. And the Sivco and Nestle's Crunch Pontiac is the greatest day, and Dale done a good job, and I just don't know what else to say. I'm really thrilled.
Well, they just waved the white flag. But now, wait a minute, that pit stop that you had back about halfway, were you concerned because you went back to about 3rd or 4th spot?
Well, Benny, after we made that pit stop, the car ran pretty good, but then he came back and said that he thought he had a tire going down. And he really created a push for some reason. And then that's the last caution we had before it went back to green. The tires cooled off, and he was able to get a jump on Bobby and stay in front to this caution here.
The fellow that just came down and shook John Irvin's hand while he was talking to me was Bob Labonte, the crew chief on Bobby's car.
Let me say this, Benny. About a month ago, we had this same situation, and I went down a while ago and told Bob to slow down a little bit and give us a chance. He said, I remember a month ago, but I really thought it was going to turn around this fine for him.
You thought he was going to win instead of you rocking him.
That's right.
Well, the winners are down there telling jokes, and the losers are crying in their beer, Jerry.
Well, I tell you, we talked about deja vu again for Bobby Labonte, Ned, and young Bobby Labonte. He's going to get that first win sometime, but it isn't going to come today. And what they refer to, folks, is the Rockingham Busch Grand National Race, where Bobby Labonte led 72 laps, and only to have Dale Jarrett running down and passing just a handful of laps in the end. And Dale Jarrett went to victory lane, and Bobby Labonte did not. And again today, as they wave the checkered flag on the Pontiac Pacesetters 200, and yes, they have rights to celebrate down there in the Nestle's Crunch pit. Cars Eisenhower there getting a big hug as the car owner. And proud Papa, congratulations. Your young son does it for the 2nd time this year.
Well, thank you, Jerry. It's good that he is the first driver to repeat as a winner in this tough Busch Grand National Series. And, you know, this is only the 2nd race that I have worked on a broadcast that he has won. The other one was last year here at Darlington.
Apparently that's an omen. Now you're going to work one tomorrow here where they go at it for 500 miles, the Trans-South 500. Of course, our entire ESPN crew, and it could be an omen.
Well, who knows? He does run this track well. I'm real proud of him for the way he drives this racetrack.
Waving at his fans, a tremendous crowd on hand. A beautiful day for racing. Had some rain showers come through here last night, but the temperature's supposed to approach almost 80 degrees here in South Carolina, central South Carolina. That's the location of Darlington, just north of Florence. and this tough 1.366-mile track. We'll hear from the winner and more when we come back as the Pontiac Pacesetters 200 is history and Dale Jarrett wins it. Don't go away.
Burger King takes on America's favorite breakfast. Today,
same old thing, prepackaged and efficient, ready and waiting. Same old, same old.
At Burger King, we've got the new Sausage Breakfast Buddy Sandwich for just 59 cents. Made fast, fresh, and delicious. It's eggs and cheese with spicy sausage all on a little buddy bun. The new Sausage Breakfast Buddy for just 59 cents, only at Burger King. It's definitely not the
same old, same old.
Now you can add these great movies to your own video library at a very affordable price. Die Hard 2, the best of the blockbusters with Bruce Willis. This is just the beginning. Plus, the most wanted men in America are back.
Yoo-hoo!
Young Guns 2.
I'll make you famous.
And the Dice Man lives. In the adventures of Ford Fairlane. Own previously viewed copies from CBS Fox Video. On sale now at participating video stores.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. There he goes. He leaves. He makes the catch. See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action. The world champion Reds open it up against the Astros. Nolan Ryan and his golden arm power the Rangers against the Brewers. An opening day doubleheader, Monday beginning at 2 Eastern live on ESPN.
Dale Jarrett getting cleaned off and getting a big cold sip of Gatorade. That'll go nice with that Nestle's Crunch bar there and the Nestle's Crunch ice cream in Victory Lane, and he will climb out of the car, and let's listen. Let's go down to Benny Parsons with the happy winner.
Dale, you did it 2 times this year.
Yeah, we sure have. I tell you, this is a good race car here. Butch Stevens, Billy Hess did a great job with this. We've run it twice now with this new snout on it. 1, 2 times. We ought to retire it, I guess. Probably be the only race car that ever retired a winner. Only 2 races that it ran, but we're going to keep running it. And crew did a great job on the 4-tire stop. I almost messed it up by choking the car down going out of the pits. But, you know, things just went well. The car was awfully good. Probably Bonnie was strong. He's going to not let me beat him one day. You know, he's not letting me now. We're just doing a good job, and that's an awful talented race driver, that kid is.
You know, he's going to be paranoid when he looks up and sees that 32 car. He just can't beat you, it seems like, this year.
Yeah, but, you know, I did that with some guys that I was coming up through the ranks that I would finish second to, like Jack Ingram and Sam Ard and those guys. I said, how am I ever going to beat them? But eventually it comes around, and he'll have his day, too, and I'll be wondering one day when he's going to quit winning.
But Dale, congratulations. Let's go down to John Kerner. He's with Bobby Labonte.
Thank you, Manny.
Bobby, Dale Jarrett just said that one day your day is going to come, but he's in victory lane right now. A little bit disappointed, but losing those races to him has got to be a little frustrating.
Well, you know, it is, but, you know, Dale drove a great race. He jumped us on that restart, you know, when I had to race back to the line. I just didn't have enough off the get-go, but, you know, finished second to him and third to all these other guys, Dale and all them, well, then that's still a victory for us in the Busch Series. So, you know, I'm happy with it. We won it first, but our Penrose Oldsmobile, we'll just get up there, I guess, one of these days.
Maybe you could give him a couple of cases of the Penrose, and he won't show up at one of these tracks here to race you.
Well, he signed a picture for me earlier this week, and I told him to do it. He did it, and it was a deal where I had the guy do it before, and he never did beat me after that, but it didn't work this time, so maybe next time.
Okay, a second place finish for Bobby Labonte, a third place finish for Dale Earnhardt. Dale talking with Tony Urey, your crew chief. He said you might have just been a little bit out horsepowered there toward the end.
I think it was a little bit low on horsepower, but the car got just a little bit loose too, and I felt like I could run a little better if I was a little tighter, but a little loose getting in 3 and a little loose in the middle of 1 and 2. But coming from 40th, that ain't too bad. You know, we didn't get in any trouble and dodged a couple wrecks. Pretty happy with the day for the Goodwrench Chevrolet.
You did have a couple of close calls out there, and Tony told me it was a little bit of luck and driver skill.
Well, there's a lot of luck, really. But we did dodge a lot of the wrecks, and we come from way back, so we're pretty happy with it. We've, you know, ran these races about 4 races this year, and we hadn't finished any worse than third, so we're pretty good shape.
Good finish for Earnhardt, going from 40th to 3rd. Now he's going to head over to the Winston Cup garage, Jerry, where he will get in the final practice session for tomorrow's race.
And he will start his car 7th tomorrow, John Kernan, in the Goodwrench Chevrolet from the Children's Stable. So the Pontiac Pacesetters 200 is over, and Dale Jarrett has won it. Bobby Labonte 2nd, and Dale Earnhardt 3rd. We'll be back with more after this.
Common misconceptions about the mountain man. 3, that a mountain man's best friend is his horse. 2, that a mountain man only packs a 6 gun. And 1, that a mountain man only has one favorite, beer. Actually, mountain men are known to favor both smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and find out how a real mountain man preserves wildlife.
Grand Prix, Coop. Say your status.
Climbing through 10,000 feet, heading 194. Switching to frequency modulation. Anti-lock brakes operational. Head up, locked on. Twin dual cam V6. Powered up.
Yeah, Roger, Grand Prix. You're looking good.
Warning. Cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
Certainly hope you've enjoyed today's Pontiac Pacesetters 200 live flag-to-flag coverage from Darlington International Raceway here in Darlington, South Carolina. Today's Speedworld coverage of Busch Grand National Racing has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. And by Quaker State. The big Q is one tough motor oil. Here's a look at the field, a full field rundown, Ned, and again, Dale Jarrett wins it, and some pretty good runs for some of these drivers.
Yes, he was, and Phil Parsons, as we mentioned earlier, coming out here with his own car that he's worked so hard on, finishing in the top 5. Todd Bodine having a super run here as well, finishing 5th.
Back through 10th, Jeff Gordon finishing 9th. Again, unofficially, our field rundown, there were 40 starters today. Chuck Bound came home 11th. Bobby Dotter, remember, he was shown as the leader for a while.
And Clifford Allison, even after being involved in that crash near the end, still finished 14th.
Last week's winner, Butch Miller, finishes in 20th spot. The only driver on the Hoosier tires here. Darrell Walter finishing back in 24th.
He went out near the end. Ernie Irvin had problems, so did Michael Walter. Morgan Shepherd, one of the first cars out of the race with engine problems.
And Harry Gant, the winningest driver here, finishes dead last. A lot of racing action coming your way tonight. Speed Week at 7:30, the Off-Road Grand Prix Mickey Thompson Series at 8 p.m. and USAC Midgets live Saturday Night Thunder from Ventura, California. Tomorrow, the Trans-South 500. Yes, more slam-bang racing action right here from Darlington at 1 p.m. Again, congratulations to the Nestle's Crunch crew and Dale Jarrett. For John Kernan and Benny Parsons in the pits, Ned Jarrett in the booth, I'm Jerry Punch saying congratulations to Dale Jarrett and so long from Darlington Raceway.